Ladies and gentlemen, the long-awaited interview with Ensar Oud. Such a pleasure and honor to welcome him to the channel. Believe me, it's only fitting that he's the first perfumer to have an interview on the channel. Go look at my Instagram, first post ever, EO1. On purpose here. I think intent like that is very purposeful for what you do in life. And it was great intent that he is the first perfumer on my channel. Others have been on in roles as reviewers and whatnot, but first as a perfumer and distiller. I, for one, am like the rest of you, or probably more so than you, very skeptical in my upbringing when people are trying to sell you stuff, especially oils that cost outrageous amounts. By the time I finally found Ensar, I've already tried 20 to 30 other oils from every EO vendor in the States, any cheap one on Etsy. All the essential oil brokers, if they had Oud in their name. Amazon went through, bought all the Ouds on there because they were cheap. I never buy again from there. And I always keep buying from Ensar. That stamp means a lot. I've talked to him, had long conversations with him now, and we totally have very similar life philosophies that whatever you put your hands to, you do it to the best of your abilities. He doesn't know this, but I was emailing Adam back and forth about an order that I had recently, and Adam's emails were really eloquently worded, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's not Ensar that's words are on the website, seeing if I could get any info. He chuckled in email form and said, no, Brandon, I'm just as wild as you every time a new description goes up. Part of those descriptions has been that he's in lockdown in Turkey and can't smell a thing of his studio, can't get any oils of his studio. Here's my skepticism. I'm like, I live in the States, and I think I have it bad. Here in the West Coast, Oregon, Washington, and California have some of the worst policies or strictest policies on the COVID measures in all of the U.S. And I complain, and then I hear stories of Ensar and others over in the world that are just completely locked out of everything. And humbles me. I'm fortunate. I shouldn't complain as much. So that was my first question. Do you really not have your materials? We had a phone conversation about this, and over an hour, he really told me all the details of everything. So that has to be my first question. This is going to be a continued series. He's gracious and generous enough to give us that time. You people, questions about naturals, distilling, the craft of Olfactory. Start constructing your questions here. Good questions. Let's get some good answers. This is our time to dig deep. He's opened himself up a bit to answer questions. I've hit him hard in the background. We'll have a few more coming down the pipe. First question was, what is this lockdown for you versus me? This is how it's been for me. I've fortunately been able to work mostly through it. Some shipping, some employee stuff got shut down and stopped, and we're bouncing back in another business I'm in. But for the most part versus others, it's all coming back, and summer's making up for other things. I have a seasonal business, but others are very devastated and hurt. So yeah, that's my first question. Definitely an honor to introduce Ensar Oud.
Hey, Brandon. Thank you for having me on the show. It's an honor to be featured on Therapeutic Fragrance. I'm happy to help support your gig. I've been following your movements since you started reviewing my oils. It's been great to see the progress and the way the videos have been evolving. I love it. It's wonderful. To answer your question, Yes, we are under lockdown, and it is serious. It is real. I don't know what people think of what they occurs in their minds when they talk about lockdowns. Maybe people think that they can't leave the city, they can't leave the town, they can't leave their homes, or what it's like. Personally, for me, it's been one major hassle to be stuck in Turkey without access to any of my ingredients. So I was here since the beginning of 2019, roughly speaking. Since I should say May 2019 is when we moved. I came here to enroll my kids in a certain curriculum in for their school, and I've been in Turkey ever since it came. As you know, it hit everybody by surprise. None of us were expecting it. So it's been one crazy ride. Initially, we were stuck in Istanbul, couldn't leave the apartment we were in, and that was a bit heavy because Istanbul was the most affected district in Turkey, with upwards of 30 to 40% of cases in the country. So we found an escape route from Istanbul to southern Turkey, where I just had this longing to be in nature. I wanted to get away from the concrete, from the glass, from the smoke and the exhaust of Istanbul. Even under the lockdown, people weren't really following the protocol before it became even stricter and forced. So we came to southern Turkey in the Antalya district, and we're right across from the Greek islands. It's the last 2 or 3 islands that comprise the Greek archipelago. This is Castellorizo right behind me here, and that's what they in Turkish they call mace, right? So Castellorizo is it's very significant for me personally. We'll probably touched on that later in the series here. But regarding the lockdown, yes, it is serious. When we came in, we were confined to a villa. The kids couldn't go out in public. I could just go out to get my bare necessities like groceries and so forth. And then we just had to stay there. So what I wanted to do is be in a place where I could have inspiration to work, even though without any materials. So the sea and the air, the sea air, nature, trees, flowers. So something radically different from Istanbul, which is where we initially were. And we've been here ever since. I find a parallel in what happened to me with what happened to a very good friend of mine that I used to consider a good friend during my childhood, namely Odysseus, or Ulysses, as is the Latin version of his name. He was cast away from his island of Ithaca, and he was exposed to many perils at sea. He couldn't return home. And we have the same situation here. I'm unable to receive any ingredients. I'm unable to receive any cosmetics, any oils, any perfumes, anything at all. I've even tried sending old shoes of my kids, used shoes, with little sample vials inside. And Turkish customs will not allow a single thing to come through. So I've been working, just through webcam, talking to my colleagues in Amman, explaining my ideas, my concepts, and composing recipes in absentia, so to speak. And it's been one heck of a ride. And I'm here to let you in on some of the behind the scenes things that went on during the composition of Homeros. So I thank you for tuning in with us here, and I guess we'll be in touch for more. Take care.
How was that, everyone? That's pretty awesome. I got the chills when I got sent that on my phone. I got to watch the video before I did the questions. It's pretty cool. I thank Ensar opening himself up. Let's get some olfactory answers and education on the art. What an opportunity. You and yours be safe. This is an ongoing series in this relaxed format. He's willing to take some questions, so put him down here. And everyone, love from the channel. Love you guys. Be blessed.